morning, guys, and welcome back to the Auntie Tay YouTube channel. Today, since we're getting a little bit more fall vibes around here, I wanted to do a fall themed project that would be both functional and decorative during this time of year. So I want to show you guys how to make this Jesmonite tray that you can have on your centerpiece, or you can give it to a friend, and I can't wait to show you how to make this. Hey everyone, it's Sam from the Auntie Tay team, and you're watching The Sam Show. Let's go make some fun things. I am using Jesmonite. Jesmonite is a water-based resin with gypsum. It's very, very different than two-part epoxy, and it's a lot safer. So if you're looking for an alternative to use with molds, I highly recommend Jesmonite. And it is a 1 to 2 part ratio, and it's by weight. So I have my scale and I weigh my liquid and my powder out separately. It's just a little bit easier for me to do it that way. And you can see I put too much, and so I had to dump it out and start again. You'll want to be very meticulous when you do this, and I weigh it with grams, and I have my little cheat sheet to help me. I want to do the Terrazzo look, and for that I need a bunch of chunks of Jesmonite. So I am taking chalked up paint in the color Terracotta, and I mixed it in with the liquid part, and then kind of how you mix cake, I add the powder into the liquid a little at a time. And with Jesmonite, you want to mix it like crazy, and you want to get all of those edges, scrape your stir stick, and you don't have to worry about bubbles like you do with epoxy resin. You can be pretty crazy with it. A lot of people will even use whisks to mix it. And I like to mix it for about 5-6 minutes, and then what I'm going to do is just put it out on my silicone mat. So you can see I'm spreading it on my silicone mat, and you want it to be pretty thin, but not thin to where you can see through it. You can also use your leftovers from a previous Jesmonite pour for the Terrazzo chunks. I just wanted a lot of this color, and I didn't have any of this color yet, so that's why I'm doing it on my silicone mat. But I'm just kind of spreading it around like I would frosting, and I'm going to tap all the air bubbles out. After about 20-25 minutes, the Jesmonite will get really warm, and then it will cure. That's when you can break it up into your Terrazzo chunks. The silicone mat makes this really easy to just peel it right off, and I just broke them into pretty small chunks, but you can break it up into whatever size you want for the look you want. Okay, now we're mixing our big batch that we're going to do for the actual tray, and it's the same thing as before. I'm measuring out my liquid separately, and then I'm measuring out my powder, and based on my cheat sheet that helps you know the 1 part liquid to the 2 part powder. And just like before, when you have it all measured out, I like to add the powder into the liquid. Now I kept its original color. It's kind of like this off-white cream color. It's really pretty. I really like it. And as you can see, I'm mixing it up super, super fast. And once I had most of the chunks out, then I added my terrazzo pieces. You can add them before, but it makes getting all of the little powdered chunks out a lot harder. So mix it pretty good, almost until you're ready to pour, and then mix in your terrazzo pieces. And you want a lot. It gets buried in there pretty easily. So mix it all really good, add some more chunks. And then I'm using this geode tray from Let's Resin. They're on Amazon. And I didn't store my mold properly, so there are a couple spots in it where it's warped out a little bit in the middle, but it adds character to it. Then tap out your air bubbles before you let it set for 20-25 minutes. You'll feel the Jesmonite heat up like really warm, and then you're going to want to demold it. Even though you're taking it out of the mold, it is not ready to use yet. It still needs to completely cure. This will take about 24 hours for it to completely dry, and you're going to want to just prop it back up on the mold. If you leave it in the mold, it will leave water spots. So you want to take it out of the mold, but you don't want to lay it flat because Jesmonite needs the water to evaporate. So that's why you prop it up on the mold. At this time, I like to clean up my equipment, and this is where you can get those chunks for future terrazzo pours. After 24 hours, then I went in and sanded it. Some people go in and sand right away. I was just really worried because mine had indents from the mold that it would break. So I let it fully cure after 24 hours, and then I went in and sanded. And they aren't joking when they tell you you have to sand a ton. So I actually took it outside and used a power sander. Make sure if you're sanding a lot and it's dusty to wear a mask and to wear eye protection, and I used my power sander. This just really makes the terrazzo chunks more apparent. And then I put these little feet on the bottom of the tray so it doesn't scuff up my table. Now you can keep it the way it is, but I really wanted to add this Auntie Thanksgiving SVG. All I am doing is attaching it because I'm making it into a stencil. So when it's all one color, I use the Auntie stencil vinyl, and I cut it on just regular vinyl. I absolutely love using this for stencils. It works so well, it weeds really well, and it's really affordable. And because it's a stencil, I'm reverse weeding. So I'm weeding out the part that you would normally keep instead. And then I like to use the masking transfer tape when using the stencil vinyl. It isn't as sticky as the grid line vinyl, so it doesn't pull the stencil up when you want it to stick. I actually prefer the grid line transfer tape for most cases, but this is a case where I absolutely love the masking tape transfer vinyl. I'm just going to put it in this bottom corner because I think it would look really cute, and it's hard to tell in the video, but the upper left is where I kind of have those divots, so it would have been hard to do a stencil there. But it's pretty forgiving as long as you don't push it down. It doesn't stick too bad, but when you do stick it down, it sticks on really well. Jesmonite is really smooth, especially if you're using a shiny mold. I love it. And then using the same terracotta paint color, I am using a foam brush and dabbing a very, very thin coat onto the tray. I really liked the idea of using the same color as the flakes, and I thought it just reminds me between the flakes and the colors of pumpkin pie, and so it's really giving me those fall vibes. You'll do one coat, let it dry, and then you'll go in and do a second coat, but make sure your coats are really, really thin. Otherwise, you just risk it peeling or bleeding. I like to pull the stencil vinyl off before the second coat is completely dry. You don't want to do it while it's wet because you risk smudging it, but I like to do it before it completely dries because sometimes when it dries, it will peel off and flake all at once. And then I just get the small little leftover pieces with my pin pen. Now, Jesmonite is food grade, and if you're going to want to use it with food, it is recommended to seal it. So I am using a beeswax sealer that's food grade, and I'm just using a coffee filter. You can use a sponge, and you're just going to take a little bit and rub it in once the paint is dry. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to use this as food, but I kind of think it would be cute as a charcuterie board. And you're just going to want to make sure you wax the whole thing and let it set for 24 hours and then wipe off any excess if there is any. And that's it. I absolutely love how it looks. I think it's a great addition for the holidays, and really it would make an awesome gift that you could customize for someone.